Quarantine, Day 4, Thursday, March 19th.
The CDC recommends washing your hands for the length it takes to sing Happy Birthday, which is about 20 seconds. If you're 3, though, it takes about 43 seconds. You know, you repeat lines, forget people's names and whatnot. They also recommend washing your hands after you use the toilet, after coughing, before eating, after sneezing, and definitely don't drink the water when you're washing your hands, and a few other times as well. If Elijah went to the toilet 6 times, coughed 8 times more than that, ate 2/3 as much as he coughed, and sneezed 1/2 as many times as he ate, how many minutes total did he wash his hands for today?
What up, quarantine people? Hope all is well. Very important question today because it has to do with washing your hands. We'll talk about a little bit about that as the time goes on. But for now, let's jump right into the math because there are a lot of steps. And maybe you feel like this picture right here. You have no idea how many steps it is, but you're just going to take it one step at a time until you reach the end, right? That's the mindset you got to have to be successful sometimes. Speaking of steps and taking it one step at a time, you know we love our sides check word problem strategy here. So our statement for this one was how many minutes is that total, right? So how many minutes are you washing your hands for total? So our statement's going to say you wash your hands for blank minutes total. Okay, so we're looking for anything about minutes, anything about washing your hands. That's what we need to identify based on our guiding light, which is our statement. There was a ton of things to identify in this word problem, and it's going to take a lot of organization, and we want to be neat, okay? Um, so the first thing is we're thinking about this as if we were a 3-year-old. So it's going to take us 43 seconds to wash our hands because we forget the lines of happy birthday or, sometimes it's everybody's birthday. So we just keep saying names. So it takes 43 seconds every time you wash your hands. Okay, so every time. And then it gave us a ton of information about how many times we need to wash our hands. It said after we use the toilet, after you cough, after you eat, and after you sneeze. That's what we're looking at, right? So we used our toilet 6 times. We are going to cough 8 times more than that. So 8 times more than we use the toilet. When we eat, we eat 2/3 as much as, which is really multiplicative comparison, as much as we cough. And then we sneeze half as much as we eat, right? So half as much as we eat, which would be 1/2 of eating, multiplying by 1/2 or dividing by the reciprocal, which is 2. And then we need to turn that into minutes because all of that is seconds. So at the end, we're going to have to do a little conversion problem and turn all of that time into minutes. I saw a lot of multiplicative comparison, so let's dive right in and just start organizing our information. And so here we have the toilet, okay? Not the toilet, that'd be weird. Here we have the toilet amount that we need to wash our hands because we used the toilet 6 times. We coughed 8 times as much as that. So I'm going to have 8 groups of 6, okay? And then again, I'm comparing this using multiplication. So 4, 5, 6, and it should be equal, but we're not perfect, okay? And so I had 1 group, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and each of those was 6 minutes. And if I have 8 groups of 6, that means I coughed 48 times. Okay, so far we've used the toilet 6 times and coughed 48 times. And here's where it gets fun. I'm going to get a different color here. Okay, we are going to eat 2/3 as much as we cough. Okay, so I'm going to draw this tape diagram the entire length of the coughing, okay, which we know that would be 48, but we only want 2/3 of that, or 2/3 as many as that. So I'm going to split this as equally as possible, okay, and I want to know what is 2/3 of this. So here now we're kind of drawing a fraction model. If I have 48 and I split that into 3 equal groups, that's going to be 16 in each. which means I have eaten a total of, or you have, whoever this is about, 32 times. And then we also sneezed. Let me get a different color again, just so it doesn't get confusing, okay? And we sneezed, and my tape diagram is going to start the same amount as the eating because I'm comparing it to eating. So that's going to be 32. And I sneezed 1/2 the amount of times I ate. So in other words, I'm going to divide this into two, and I want one of those pieces. So 32 divided by 2 would be 16, and that's how many times I sneezed. So the first thing we need to do is figure out how many times do we wash our hands in all, right? So I need all of this combined. I'm going to cross that 48 out and that 32 so I don't get confused. I used the toilet 6 times. We coughed 48 times. When I add that together, that's 54. So I'm going to cross both those out because I'm done with them. Then I ate 32 times. Okay, that's going to be 86. And then I sneezed 16 times, which means I had to wash my hands a total of 102 times. Now, just really quickly, just that this is not about math, it's just a quick health break. That seems ridiculous, like you would wash your hands 102 times, but let's break it down for a second because this is super important for helping get everybody healthy again. A, using the toilet 6 times, not unheard of, right? Because you're going number one, you're going number two, you should wash your hands after every time you go in the bathroom, okay? Coughing. If you have allergies or if you have a cold, coughing 48 times, that's very reasonable, right? That doesn't seem crazy. The eating part is what a lot of people were telling me seems crazy, but think about it. You eat 3 meals a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But how many times are you snacking? How many times are you reaching into the jelly bean bowl, right? How many times are you getting a potato chip out of the bag? Now, you don't need to wash your hands every time you get a potato chip out of the bag, but when you're done taking a snack, go wash your hands. And then if you go back 10 minutes later, eat more snack, you need to wash your hands again. So that really, 32 seems high, but that's really not too unreasonable. And then again, if you have allergies or have a cold, sneezing 16 times, obviously that's very reasonable. So yeah, 102 seems like a lot, but we're trying to get healthy as a community. Wash your hands, even if it's 102 times, okay? Now, let's get back to the math. Public service announcement over. I can't write 102 here because that's the amount of times I wash my hands, and I'm looking for minutes, which means now I need to think about my next piece of information, which was 43 seconds for every time you wash your hands. Let me get a fresh sheet of paper out, okay? Or computer screen, it's not really paper, right? And I know that I am washing my hands 102 times, okay? So I want to make it as equal as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, 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 102 times. And each time, it's taking me 43 seconds. And I want to know the total amount of time. So I'm looking for blank seconds here. So obviously this is repeated addition. I have 102 groups of 43, so I need to solve that first. Whenever you multiply, you go right to left, cross out, you add your 0 and erase. I'm doing 40 times 2, which is going to be 80, which is why my 8 is in the tens place. 4 times 0, 0, and then 40 times 100 would be 4,000, which is why my 4 is in the thousands place. And here I have 4,386 seconds. That is the total amount of seconds that you want to wash your hands. However, I want my answer in minutes. So going back to my statement and letting this be my guiding light, now my next thought is, okay, I have seconds. I need to convert that to minutes. It's a challenge math problem. It can be a lot of steps. Okay, if you ain't ready to run with the big dogs, stay on the quarantine porch. That's not really a good saying. But now I have seconds and I want to turn that into minutes. Okay, so I teach my kids something called the Lexus and Saddle. And so if you use that way, that's great. If you knew you had to divide, that's awesome. I'm going to draw out a tape diagram real quick just to kind of visually show why that works. But if you use the shortcut, totally fine. So you have 4,386 seconds. And you want to split that into groups of 60 seconds, right? Because there's 60 seconds in each minute. So you're going to take that 4,386 and you're going to be dividing it into groups of 60 to figure out how many minutes that would be total. Okay, so that is why the Lexus and saddle work if you did that. So we need to go ahead and divide that. Okay, divided by 60. It's going to be 0, 0. I know that's going to be 7 because 60 times 7 is 420. If you made an easy multiple sheet, awesome. I'm just trying to keep these videos as short as possible, which I know doesn't seem like sometimes. And then that'd be 3 groups, which would be 180. When you subtract, you get a remainder of 6 seconds. And so I'm going to write this number as a mixed number, right? So that'd be 73 minutes and 6/60ths of another minute, which you could simplify to 3/30ths, which you could simplify to 1/10, okay? So you could write it as 73 minutes and 1/10 of another minute, or if you did the decimal, because you know how to do that, you might have just done 73 and 1/10 of a minute. Either one of these are acceptable. So now I have my answer in minutes, which is what it asked me for. So I know I'm done, okay? Please, please, please like and subscribe. Even if you didn't like it, help us out here at Quarantine Math and Instructive Beats. We'd love to have you come back and check out our other songs and videos. Please tune in tomorrow for day 5, Friday. Then we're going to take a weekend break, and we'll be back on Monday with another fantastic quarantine math problem. As always, wash your hands, don't touch your face. If you're feeling sick, stay home, stay safe, do math. I'm out.